Kia ora. I'm joining the paper crafting YouTubers for a favourite escape YouTube hop, and today I am going to be sharing some photos of Tyree Beach. And so I'm going to scrapbook these. They were taken on my last visit there, and it was sort of this impromptu late sort of evening walk, and the light was just beautiful and the clouds were stunning, and as per usual the beach was deserted. We dressed up warm to head out there, and it's kind of the place we go to. My parents have got a beach house there. It makes it easy to go and stay. There's a great coffee machine, so anywhere with coffee is a winner. And so I went into my Cricut Access studio just to have a play around, as I often do before I make something, and I found these Cricut cuts that I've used from the Close to My Heart You Are Here collection. And so there's sort of these Polaroids, and I decided I'd just blow them up a bit bigger and layer them on each other with the hearts. And there's a heart geotag, which kind of pulls in that idea of it being a favourite place, and also the rest and relax title that's there. And they were all just part of that Cricut set, or that image set. And so I've made good use of those for this layout today. So what I'm doing here is I am just choosing some of the papers that I'm going to back these sort of Polaroid frames with. And I'm using mostly the You Are Here collection, which, no, not You Are Here, that was the Cricut cut file, You Are Enough, which is a current special, sort of a feature special pack this month with Close to My Heart. So this month being in May, and I'm pretty sure it'll be available through June as well. It's a beautiful collection, sort of soft, ethereal colours, and rose gold touches. Yeah, it's quite beautiful. So I've just chosen some of the pieces of paper, the scraps that I had, and I'm just going to back them onto these wee frames. So I'll probably change the order around of those, and I decided that one on the left there is just too bold, and that I possibly need to either tuck it in behind or do something with that so that it's not standing out quite so much. But I'm quite happy with sort of that idea that I had in my head when I sort of was looking at this cartridge. And this is an old piece of spotty vellum that I'm not sure what collection that was from. And the geotags there that I'm just looking at what to back them with are cut from some bluebelle cardstock. So I do decide to use this sort of paper behind those geotags that are, it reminds me of old bench tops, but with a bit more of a blue tone. And I backed each of those geotags with that, and I have now stuck down the papers behind the Polaroid kind of frames. Just playing around with placement and thinking that all through. Now, as I sort of look at this, I'm aware I'm going to need to pull in some other embellishments, so I sort of have a look at some of the sticker sheets that I had floating around, and end up using cut some bits and pieces out, which I decide I don't actually like on there. I was trying to work out a way to use these strips, and there's a nice one from the Daisy Meadows sticker sheet that I'm going to pull out now as well, this light blue, but it didn't quite work with the bluebelle and the colours that I've currently got on this page that I was wanting to highlight. The beautiful scenery at the beach. I do decide to use this flower cluster that's at the top of the sticker sheet, and I couldn't find my normal little scissors. I had them at a crop last weekend, and I'm not quite sure which bag I stashed them in before when we were packing up to leave, but I'm sure they will turn up. I'd already had to replace them as my son had decided they were great scissors as well. So now I have two pairs which I can't locate. Anyway, I'm sure they'll turn up. So again, I'm just trying to play around with that sticker, and I pull out some wooden flower shapes. These are from a current collection. It's something farmhouse. I just can't remember right off the top of my head. but I'll add the details in the descriptions later. But I do pull out these wooden flowers, and I wondered about inking them up to change the colour, but I'm actually quite happy with the natural wood look in the end. So I am just going to back the photographs on the leftover white daisy cardstock from when I cut the Polaroids out. So I sort of fit 4 on the mat on a 12 by 12 sheet beforehand. So I'm just sticking these down, and I'm going to roughly cut around the outside edge of them before working out how I'm going to put these onto the page. And I do decide that I'm going to have another colour to separate them from the white of the Polaroids. So Tyree Beach has kind of got a long-term family history, in the sense that great-granddad had a house just about 3 or 4 down from where Mum and Dad currently have their house, and my auntie currently owns, not my auntie, my dad's cousin. You can work out the relationship. I'm not sure if that's third cousins or second cousins or how that works, but she still owns that wee property, and Mum and Dad purchased where their current beach house is, just down the road from that, a number of years ago now. And so we've got lots of family memories and connections with that place. My kids sort of have holidayed there. They've had friends come and stay there with us. Yeah, it's just a really nice spot to be in. Where I live in Queenstown is sort of surrounded by mountains and lakes, and it's really nice to go somewhere where you've got the sounds of the ocean and the salty air and things around. So the background, while it's got this beautiful sort of is it bouquet or marbly kind of look in there, I decide it does need a little bit more behind. It just didn't feel quite right. Maybe it's because I've used too much mixed media on different pages, but I decided to use the Dinah Wakely Media Gloss Sprays, and I'm using both the white and the night. And then I pull out some of the Close to My Heart shimmer brushes, and I'm using the Bluebelle shimmer brush here, and I'm going to use the gold shimmer brush as well. So I just squeeze a little bit out to get the brush tip nice and moist, and then as I sort of tap it around the page, it gets left with the beautiful sparkles and colour. So I've let that dry, and now I'm going to start sort of pulling in the bits and pieces that I had already laid out earlier. And there's a wee bit of sticker left there, but I do realise that a bit later on. And I am going to stick that down, just going by memory from what I had before from these. And so I've sort of gone the 2 sides first, and then I realised that wee sticker piece is still there before pulling it out. So each of these Polaroids, I'm trying to let the little heart in the down the bottom there show through on each of them. I do end up covering some of them up, and I do something else with them a little bit later on. So I've covered up most of that sort of that darker rose gold bit there, and I have got the photo is on the white daisy, but then it's on also the beautiful pink with rose gold sort of squiggles or splodges, and I think that really helps to lift the photos out from the beautiful blue background, still letting the lovely light that's on the clouds show through, and also it ties in with the actual background paper. So I've just used some double-sided foam tape here to give it a little bit of lift from when I'm sticking these photos down, and because the Polaroid kind of background's different layers, the foam tape really helps to sort of even that out. So I'm just going to use some liquid glass to stick down the title, and I've done that rest of that off camera before adhering that into that spot on the page. So I've got these leaves, and I had meant to tuck them in earlier, but they do look quite nice tucked in under the vellum, and they just tie in nicely with that little floral cluster up on the top left. So now I'm just backing the geotags with some foam tape as well, and just repositioning these or popping these in places around the layout. I'm sort of trying to stick with that triangle kind of design element where each of the geotags creates a bit of a triangle, and I kind of end up doing that with these flowers that I'm putting together here now too. I sort of create a few little flower clusters around the page, and I use a mixture of the wood and the black acrylic that were part of this sort of collection of embellishments, and just positioning them around the place. And I'm using again the liquid glass to stick them down. So here I'm going to just add my journaling, and I decided early on that I was going to pop this on the bottom of one of those sort of Polaroids. So I'm just noting down here that when I think of a favourite escape, this is probably one of the first things that comes to mind. When the sort of theme or idea of this YouTube hop was shared, I automatically thought of coffee being my everyday escape. It's just something that I really enjoy, but how could I not scrapbook the actual favourite place that I love to go to escape? It's too far away to do my schoolwork. I can't take everything with me, so I'm able to sort of pick and choose what I do when I'm there. And often it's not much, just cruising around the house, or having coffees with mum, or walking on the beach, all sorts of things. So I found some pearls and some silver gems that I decide I'm going to sort of stick in some various spots around the page, just looking for gaps, looking for spaces that could handle a little bit more points of interest. And so sort of happy with that, but I felt that the hearts in the bottom of the Polaroids need a little bit more. So I'm going to use the Ballerina liquid pearls and just sort of fill in the little hearts, and then add some wee spots around the layout. So my technique with these is to sort of squirt and hope it works out into a little dot, and most of the time it's pretty good. There's two spots sort of when I get over to the left of the page that sort of have legs on them when I lift it up and move away, and I just go back later on and just sort of tidy those up a little bit, just in there now where I just did those. They've not perfect, but that's okay. In the end, it looks pretty cool, and I'm happy with what's created. So there is my favourite escape. I hope you'll pop in and have a look at what others have done in their favourite escape, and I'll link them up below. Thank you for watching.